Arthur, does it help to have someone to talk to?
Featuring a riveting and Oscar-worthy performance by Joaquin Phoenix, Joker would work just as well as an engrossing character study without any of its DC Comics trappings. That it just so happens to be a brilliant Batman universe movie is icing on the Batfan cake.
Hey, stop them!
Director Todd Phillips' Joker presents a Gotham City that is unmistakably a stand-in for the hellish New York City of the past. This Gotham is a place of grimy despair, extreme wealth disparity, and festering lawlessness, teetering on the brink of collapse. While this realistic depiction makes a place that's typically fantastical seem familiar, it's not just the recognizable setting that gives Joker its hyper-realism. It's what the film is allegorically about that makes it so believable, timely, and worth talking about long after the credits roll.
I used to think that my life was a tragedy, but now I realize it's a comedy.
Joker may be a period piece, but it is undeniably about our own troubled, relentlessly violent time. The 1980s setting not only allows the film to be a comic book version of a classic Martin Scorsese or Sidney Lumet film, it also strips away the technology that nowadays would help catch such a madman sooner rather than later. This is a time when people smoked everywhere, security cameras and metal detectors weren't ubiquitous, and no one wore seatbelts while driving. Times were bad, but they could get even worse. Joker the character acts as the symbolic match to that waiting dynamite.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
Unnervingly played by Joaquin Phoenix, the mentally ill Arthur Fleck is a struggling, overlooked schlep trapped on the margins of society, a man who has never had a good break or happy day in his life. The less said about how and why Arthur embraces the Joker persona and finds his liberation and joyful empowerment, the better. This is a film meant to be experienced with an open mind, but suffice it to say, this Joker is the end result of a culture far too comfortable with its casual cruelties and lack of empathy. Joker is an indictment of society's collective disregard for the well-being of its citizens rather than a critique of any one type of individual or class. As much as you sympathize with their plight, Gotham's downtrodden can be as callous and vicious as the rich and powerful. Arthur is injured emotionally or physically by people at every level, as well as by the institutions they populate. Arthur is ultimately seeking human connection, something he tragically won't find until he puts on a happy face and violently exposes the city's own hypocrisies and inhumanity.
I didn't know if I even really existed, but I do. And people are starting to notice.
Joker the film may ask viewers to empathize with its central protagonist, but it doesn't ask us to forgive him for his increasingly evil choices. As many real-world parallels and inspirations can be uncomfortably drawn from Arthur's descent into violent madness, the film still knows he's deranged and not to be romanticized, merely understood. The key to that careful calibration is not only Todd Phillips' sharp direction and clear vision, but also Joaquin Phoenix's indelible performance. Arthur's uncontrollable laughter looks as though it physically pains him. His body is rail-thin and battered, his misery is etched on his deeply creased face. He looks healthier and livelier as he transforms into Joker than he ever does as Arthur. Phoenix captures all these tiny nuances in Arthur that reveal so much about this disturbed individual's inner life.
Is this a joke to you?
Despite this seemingly being an origin story, the comic book Joker infamously once said he preferred his origin to be multiple choice, and this movie wisely embraces the ambiguity of its title character. Phillips and co-screenwriter Scott Silver designed a film that demands multiple viewings. One of Joker's strengths is that anyone will be able to argue their side about what was real and what was imagined, and no one will be able to say another's read of it is inaccurate. And for a movie about one of fiction's most unreliable narrators, we should expect nothing less. Joker isn't just an awesome comic book movie, it's an awesome movie, period. It offers no easy answers to the unsettling questions it raises about a cruel society in decline. Joaquin Phoenix's fully committed performance and Todd Phillips' masterful, albeit loose reinvention of the DC source material make Joker a film that should leave everybody, comic book fan or not, disturbed and moved in all the right ways.
You just
For more DC reviews, check out what we thought of Batman Hush and Pennyworth. And as always, be sure to follow and subscribe wherever you like to watch IGN.